got a unbelievable advanced scouting group. Tyler Dean, his staff, they do a ton for us as far as just hopping ahead to be able to evaluate what do these teams look like, who have they added, who have they lost, what coaching turnover do they have. And we do a kind of a summer scouting report on each one of those teams to give us a little bit of a feel for what are they going to look like, what do we need to be prepared for when we get to those points in the season. And kind of the way our bye weeks have fallen this next year, it's a little bit different than last year where they're so spread out. It's almost like you have individual seasons there where you can kind of prepare for what's new with each opponent. But some new venues that we're going to be traveling to, whether it's traveling to Rutgers or Iowa or Penn State, some Northwestern, those will all be new for us. So those will be new experiences that I'm excited for our guys to be able to handle and attack.
Coach, good to see the secondary is a group that a lot of fans are excited about this year. A couple of veteran guys, and Dylan and Jaden, that are coming over, but a lot of young guys are going to probably be called on to step up this year. What do you kind of need to see from some of those young guys to ultimately be confident and putting them out there?
Yeah, we feel like there's a level of play, right, that you're either above the line or really below the line. As many guys we can find that can do that, we want to find roles for them, right? And that it's going to look different week 1 than it'll look week 6, right? There were guys that were involved for us at the end of the season. Kingston Lopez is a great example. He's a guy that learned throughout the year and then was able to have a big role for us in the Big Ten championship this past season. So it'll change over time, but ultimately this group looks a lot like you want it to look as far as size, speed, athleticism. It's our job now to get them caught up to where they can execute at a high level.
Right here on the right, Lydia.
Lots of roster turnover this year and a lot of younger players or less experienced players stepping into larger roles. What are the advantages of having those players on the field who might not have as much on tape for other programs in the conference to see?
Yeah, and I don't know the exact numbers, but, comparative to roster turnover, like our first year, I think it was over 50 players. I think our second year is over 40. So there's turnover, but in a different way. Like we sent a lot of guys on to the NFL and a lot of opportunities. That doesn't mean the guys behind them aren't going to be those same, quality players. Every year we've had more get the opportunity to go play at the league. So I think you're going to see some faces that are certainly capable of that. But it starts at what they do at Oregon. So that's part of what we got to figure out, right? There's some turnover, there's some new learning. Maybe you peel back a little bit less on the install, but you're also afforded so much time in the summer and the spring to really get a jump on what you want to be able to accomplish and what you want to be able to learn. So our guys, we have a big volume. We have a lot of stuff on offense, a lot of stuff on defense, special teams that we're going to be able to incorporate this year, and it's about what they can handle and getting them ready for those moments.
We're going to go back for the next 3. Matt in the middle.
Kind of touching on that, you recently talked about the confidence in a lot of guys that are going to be playing for their first opportunity for the public to kind of see them. Where does that confidence come from? Where do you feel like this team's still going to be where they were last year but with new faces?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's what we have to figure out. But, you look at competitive sports, you look at guys that have a lot of success, and a lot of it comes on with, competition, anxiety, right, and then lack of confidence. That's where people fail. So our goal within fall camp is how can we create the same anxiety you'd have on game day? How can we make practice look as much as possible like a game? And how can we build confidence in what guys do well? And that's part of our job as coaches. It's about having belief in players that the next play is the most important play. And our guys, when they get their fuel from internally, intrinsically, rather than externally, I think that's when they perform their best. So that's really the goal this fall.
Coach, you talked a lot about, obviously, the goals. I'm just wondering, year over year, how much are the goals of this program to your leadership stay the same, and how do you maybe add new goals to kind of change with the flavor and keep things kind of progressing and moving along each year that you're a head coach here within this program?
Well, I think everything in football is about learning different ways to say the same thing over and over again, right, to make sure that it's interesting and exciting for your team. Ultimately, winning football is winning football. That's been really consistent. What's the new run scheme in the league that we haven't seen? That's what's different, right? So you have to be great at stopping the run and great at running the ball, right? We know that. So that's the goal that stays the same, right? We want to be able to be a team that can rush consistently for over 5 yards per carry. We want to be a team on defense that can hold people under 3.3 yards per rush, right? So that stays the same. What's going to change is how do you do it. So I think the goals, they're consistently the same. There's some of those goals that we've hit in the past and some that we hadn't, but that tells you quickly, okay, this is an area that we want to attack. This is something we got to do better this season. So ultimately, a lot of it's the same. The process of getting there might be a little bit different, but the process in itself is also the same.
Far left, back. Your first year out, you win the Big Ten. How do you top that, and what's a successful season in your eyes this year?
I get asked that question every year, and for me, it's always the same. What's the best version of us? If we're playing our best football, if we're being the best that we can possibly be, then that's something I'm excited about, and the results kind of take care of themselves. What's our goal? I mean, we have high standards. We came here to win championships. Obviously, we got an opportunity to taste that last year with the Big Ten championship. You know, we want to win them all, not just some of them, right? But that's also not football. That's not very common. It's hard to do. So biggest goal is to be uncommon, right? To do things that other people can't do, and we have to figure out who we are to get there.
Right here, back row, left side.
Obviously, the first couple games last year, you guys were winning, but you